listen, you click this video because you want to drop some nukes in COD Mobile. And listen, man, I got you. I'm going to give you my top 5 tips for being able to drop a nuke right here on Call of Duty Mobile. And so before I get into all of the tips, pause, answer this question for me. What is your favorite gun to use when going for nukes in Call of Duty Mobile? What's your go-to gun? Let me know in the comment section below. But let's get straight into it. Speaking of guns, that is tip number 1, choosing the right gun. So when it comes to picking the right gun, something that you need to understand is that you need a gun that has a good balance of like power, recoil, and magazine size. It doesn't make sense to have a powerful gun that you can't control and can't, land any shots. But at the same time, you don't want a gun that's super accurate, but it loses to every single gun in the game. And so with that being said, I'm going to give you my top 5 best guns for dropping nukes. And I give you the loadouts, of course. So first and foremost, we got the BP50. Here's the attachments that I use. I may change like the magazine if I wanted to, have that SMG feel. And then I'll switch it to the 30 round mag if I wanted to have that AR like long range feel. But the BP50, that's number 1. 2, we got the USS9. Here are the attachments for that. Try this gun out. It's a powerhouse. Doesn't have a lot of bullets, but the raw killing power is insane. At number 3, we got the PP19 Bison. Attachments are on the screen. This is literally, in my opinion, the easiest gun to use in COD Mobile, whether you're going for a nuke or not. Let's keep it pushing. At number 4, as far as like, my top 5 guns, we got the GRAW. And I said it before in another video. I'll say it again here. Whether you have the Mythic version or not, try out these attachments. This gun is a laser beam, and it's just good, man. It's just a really good gun. And so at my last spot for this, I wanted to put one LMG, of course. And so I got the MG42. And so this gun, attachments on screen, of course, is really good. The only problem is, it's going to take you a little bit longer to reload. And it's just not the most mobile gun. But this, even with those 2 downsides, this gun is, amazing. It's a killing machine, no recoil. It's a beast. Like I said, try out those attachments. But yeah, try one of these 5 guns, pick the right gun for you. As you use these guns, you'll figure out which ones you like. But pick one of these guns, and then we can move on to tip number 2, which is selecting the right perks, / class setup, So once you got the right gun, you got to make sure the rest of your class is good. So let's get into, this class setup. For the secondary, use a knife if you want that extra mobility. You want to whip out your knife, get around the map a little bit quicker. If you're going to go with a pistol of some sort, I don't want to give you a whole bunch of pistols to use. I'm going to just give you like my top 2. Either use the shorty, which is like a shotgun, or the LCAR-9, And you only really want to use these in desperate times. So let's say you're pushing the spine, you don't got time to reload, and you kind of in a real tight spot. Just whip out, the shotty or the shorty, or whip out the LCAR-9, and make sure you get that kill, like if you're in a desperate situation. So use one of those 3, the knife, the shotty, or the LCAR. For your operator, like I said, there's a bunch you can go with depending on your play style, but my top 2 picks would be kinetic armor, so that you can have that extra health, or the transform shield, so that you can be able to just pretty much camp if you need to, get a head glitch in any part of the map if you need to, post up somewhere. But it's a good way to just protect yourself from the enemy team because it gives you that head glitch potential, but it's also like, emitting like these rays. So if they come in front of it, they're going to be getting hurt. So like I said, those 2 are my top 2 operators, for, trying to drop a nuke. For the lethal, you pretty much can use whatever you like. It really depends on your playstyle. I enjoy using either a C4 or a frag. But, if you're somebody that want to post up a little bit more, try out the trip mine. Simtex. This one's a little bit more personal preference. But like I said, for me, I'm a C4 kind of guy. let's go ahead and skip to the tactical. Like I said, there are some options here, but my top 2 picks would be either the trophy system, which just protects you from, enemies trying to throw grenades at you, throw anything at you. It's going to block it. Or I go with the EMP grenade, which pretty much destroys things on the map that would, get you killed. So it'll destroy a shock RC. If somebody on the other team got a sentry gun, you'll destroy that, or a SAM turret. Or if they tried to use the shield thing, what is it called? The transform shield. You could just chuck an EMP grenade at it. It'll, disable all of those things, or you could just throw them, and just have them hit the other enemy team and kind of take away their mini map. It's just a good, tactical to have in your back pocket. All right, last thing for this section would be your perks, and you want to make sure you got the right perks if you're out here trying to drop some nukes. And so for the red section, you want to either go with restock or flak jacket. Restock will help you keep your equipment, and just keep getting them over and over and over. So, if you're running trip mines, you can have a bunch of those thrown down somewhere, or you could keep a couple of EMP grenades just in your back pocket at all times. But restock just helps, keep you alive for longer. And so the other option, like I said, is flak jacket. This one is pretty self-explanatory. This protects you from all incoming grenades and explosives and all of those different things, which ultimately, like I said, will help you stay alive a lot longer. So if you're trying to post up in the power position and people are throwing grenades and all kinds of stuff, flak jacket will help you stay alive. And so let's move on to the green perks. I'll give you about 3 options here. I would say it's about 3 to 4 that you can use. But first I'll say Vulture. And so Vulture pretty much allows you to pretty much never run out of bullets. And so if you're trying to go for a nuke and you have a gun that you're really enjoying, you don't want to run out of bullets with that gun. So you want to make sure that, Vulture will help keep you getting bullets for that particular gun. And it helps, give you HP when you pick up those packets, the scavenger packets that's on the floor. Let's move on to the next perk, which will be Ghost. And this one just is a great perk to keep you off the map. Helps you kind of play a little bit stealthy. Let's say, you're trying to figure out where to go on the map, or you're trying to push the spawn. Ghost is going to keep you off the radar, when people are trying to call in UAVs or use a heartbeat sensor or whatever the case may be. But Ghost is going to help you play a little bit stealthy. So I'm like, if you stack like Ghost and flak jacket, now they can't grenade you, and they, it's hard to keep up with you on the map. So Ghost is a pretty solid option. And then Quick Fix is just a great perk, especially if you want to play aggressive. Quick Fix allows you to, regain your health after you get a kill. And so you're going to be trying to get a lot of kills, and you need to stay alive. So Quick Fix is going to help you, with that period. It's going to help you stay alive. And so down to the last perks, our blue perks. I'll give you 2 options here. One of them is pretty much, the most obvious one, for people that play COD Mobile on a regular, and that will be dead silence. Footsteps in this game are super loud, and you want to make sure that you're able to get around the map and not give away your position all the time. So dead silence helps you kind of play stealthy once again if you got Ghost on as well. And it also just allows you to hear the other enemy team, not that this perk boosts their footsteps or anything, but if you're not making as much noise, it's going to be easier to pinpoint the other team and get those kills, And so this one, like I said, is like the #1 blue perk for pretty much anybody who plays COD Mobile, because dead silence is just a really good perk. But if you don't want to run dead silence, I would say run hardline. That would be my other pick. This just allows you to get your kill streaks or score streaks a lot quicker. Help you get them UAVs quicker, your advanced UAVs, whatever you're running. It's going to help you get those things quicker. And so, which is, a great way to segue into point or tip number 4 or 3. My bad, I'm tripping. Tip number 3, which is your score streak selection. There's a lot of different setups that you can use when it comes to your score streaks, but you want to make sure that you run streaks that will help keep you alive and put the enemy team at a disadvantage. So two kill streaks in particular, score streaks. I always, I play other Call of Duty, so sometimes they call it kill streaks on one Call of Duty, and then on another Call of Duty they call it score streaks. I'm trying to make sure I keep it to COD Mobile. But For the Scorestreak options in COD Mobile 2 that I feel like are a must if you're going to be going for nukes is the UAV and the advanced UAV, because they are going to give you the most map awareness. So those two, I would say use those, no matter what. The third option, I'll give you, give you a couple of things that you could choose between depending on your play style. So I'll throw the Shock RC in there as one of them. And that's just going to help you get quick kills. Or let's say, you need to reload and you got a Shock RC in your pocket. You can drop it, reload. It's going to like grab and stun the most nearest enemy, which will help you get your reload off and then kill them. Or it just helps get you an easy kill. And, if you're going for nukes, you're going to need some of those just easy kills along the way. Another option will be the counter UAV, which is one of my favorites, just to go UAV, counter, and advance. Because now you don't have to worry about dropping anything or any extra animations. You could just keep calling in UAV, counter, advance. Like you could just call them in. You don't have to worry about no extra animations or having to put something down. Like it's just a really good setup. And the counter UAV just blocks the enemy's teams from knowing where you're at. So it's like you get ghost pretty much for free. My next option would be the SAM turret. And this one just pretty much destroys anything that the enemy puts up. So if they try to put up a UAV or a counter UAV, the SAM turret is going to destroy those, which ultimately helps you out. It's going to help you stay alive by making sure that they don't have any UAV advantages or anything they put up. It's going to shoot it down. And so my last option that I'll give you is the EMP systems. And so the EMP systems is like you take the EMP grenade and you just make it 20 times better, because it's going to disable everything on the enemy team side. If they got kill streaks out, if they got anything, it's going to just disable everything for them. They're going to lose their mini map. All of that stuff is going to cause a lot of disruption. And that's something that you might want to have on your side when you're going for these nukes. You want to mess up the other team and give yourself all of the advantages. And so that's tip number 3, which is picking the right kill streak. So let's keep moving to tip number 4, which is simply map/game mode awareness. Knowing the map that you're on and understanding the game mode that you're playing is going to be vital if you're trying to go for nukes. If you don't know the power positions on the map, then you're going to have a hard time getting a bunch of kills. If you don't know where people are gravitating to, where people just generally go on a specific map, it's going to be hard to get a bunch of kills because you're just unaware of what's happening. And so you got to learn the maps, and you just learn that by playing the game modes or playing the game over and over and over and over. You're going to gain the knowledge. And so once you have the map knowledge, then you got to understand the game modes. I recommend 2 modes if you're going to go for nukes, which is Domination or Hardpoint. These 2 modes allows you to have enough time and opportunity to get kills, predict enemy spawns, all of those different things. And so these are like my top 2 game modes that I'll play when I'm trying to go for nukes and stuff like that. Because like I said, it just gives you as much time as possible to go ahead and drop those nukes. And so like I said, if you want to be able to drop some nukes, this 4th tip is simply knowing the maps that you're on and understanding the game modes that you are playing. So Domination is 3 flags. You want to cap 2 and then try to hold the enemy in that other spawn. So if you got A and B, hold the other enemy team at C and just kind of camp out around their spawn, pick them off, all of that stuff. Hardpoint, before the match boots up, it shows you on the map the rotations of the hard points. And so what you want to do is not necessarily sit inside the hard point the whole time, because then you're just like a hot target for however long that hard point is there. But you want to use, where the hard point is at to predict the enemy spawns. So if the hard point is somewhere in the middle of the map, your team spawning on one side, their team spawning on one side, and you want to use your teammates to help predict where the other team is at. So like I said, you want to use that map awareness and understand the game modes and where each, hard point's going to bounce around to your advantage to maximize your amount of kills so that you ultimately drop a nuke. And so get to my last tip. This is tip number 5, and it's having the right play style. And so if you're going to be trying to go for these nukes, the play style that I want to say that you have to adapt is this passive aggressive play style. You got to know when to push the spawn super aggressively. You got to know when to hold the power position, you know, aka camp a little bit. Just got to find that balance, because if you overly push the spawns, you run the risk of running into too many enemies and getting killed, you know, because you're getting overwhelmed by people. But at the same time, if you hold the power position too long, you make yourself a predictable target. So if like you're just sitting in the same exact spot, you know, and you just keep killing people over and over and over, now they, you know, can figure out another way to kill you. They can go to a different angle. They could throw a grenade, switch to a different class, throw 2 grenades at you. Like teammates, it could get overwhelming if you're just sitting in one spot and you're not moving. So you really just have to find that balance between pushing, getting kills, and then that other balance between like sitting in a really good spot that's also getting you a bunch of kills. It's like a balance, like I said. You got to be able to do both. And so if you find that balance, you will be all right. So let's do a quick recap, you know, of my 5 tips to help you drop nukes on COD Mobile. The first one, you got to choose the right gun. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2, you got to choose the right perks and loadout combination. Tip number 3, choose the right score streaks. That's going to help you stay alive. Tip number 4, understand the map and the game mode that you're playing. Super important. And then number 5 is choosing the right playstyle, which, like I said, will be a passive aggressive playstyle. And so that's all I got for you. Take all of this stuff that I just said, take it, use it, apply it, and then go out there and drop you a nuke. And that's all I got for you. I'll catch you on the next one. You're Jersey.